It's
Oh, really?
yeah, setting up
Look at
your
us, still
meeting for
go.
custom. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't read all the text.
done.
Ooh, look at that.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to Mindset Monday. I'm Shelley Butler.
And I'm Yves Doucette.
Yes, you are. Oh, uh-oh.
Don't touch the button.
Don't touch the
Something
button. I'm
happened to
gonna
our
stop.
screen.
I'm gonna stop sharing right now. Oh my gosh. It's Monday morning.
It is Monday morning. Don't you love Mondays?
I I
This is
love
the,
Mondays.
we're gonna have a discussion with something, but this is my favorite meeting. Yeah,
Is it your favorite meeting?
it's my favorite meeting. It's
Oh,
not really a meeting though. And there used to be a time when like I would go on holidays, like recently on holidays, and you had it without me. I was such in FOMO.
aw,
Yeah.
really?
I thought, oh, I'm gonna get replaced by Owen or Angela or someone.
Huh.
Felicia. Felicia's funny.
Felicia is absolutely hilarious. Felicia is probably one of the funniest people I have ever hung out with, to tell
Yeah.
you the honest truth. She's got a really great sense of humor. So here we are back. I wanted to make us a little bit bigger.
I want to be taller.
Can
Can
I
you make
do
me
it?
taller?
Can I do
Not
it?
fatter, taller.
I'm not gonna do it. We're
Why
gonna be
not try it?
huh? But if I go like this and then I go like
It doesn't change. That's the live. It
this,
doesn't change the live. See the live?
it doesn't change the live.
No.
Okay. All right.
So we're
Well,
trying to put like we're trying to do a couple of things here to just
yeah.
bear with us on
Just
this Monday morning. It's cold today. It's super cold. If you're unless you're in, somewhere in the south, it's super cold here in like minus 15 Celsius. And I see that you were not wearing a suit today. You,
why is that like
so
that?
I'm just gonna talk because like Shelly's busy.
Because I
So
yeah, I can't figure it out. I cannot figure it out, and it drives me absolutely crazy that I cannot figure this view thing out.
like I have 5 suits. I haven't worn a suit for a long time. And the reason I don't wear a suit is because like I like this stuff, and this stuff is very flexible. So when I come to work, I work out. I might go snowboarding today, so I might go do yoga today. I may go do, and I love the way that, and I'm gonna just push Lululemon here a bit because not because I'm a fan of Lululemon, but this is Lululemon, but because they kind of reset our whole mind about like wearing a suit to work. And it was because women were so freaking busy that they didn't have time. They wanted something they could do active wear, go to the gym, not necessarily change, still look good, go to work, and then go do the mom stuff and do all that, and they still look good. So that's the whole brand for Lululemon. So I don't think wearing a suit today is a requirement. I think it like that's such a. I'm old enough to remember that IBM was a blue suit, right?
Yeah.
And so this whole way of like dressing a certain way, but is it actively reflecting your lifestyle? And there's nothing wrong with a suit. I do love a man in a suit,
Yeah, I love a
right?
woman in a suit.
I love in a woman in a suit that's dressed up. I like that. Like we went to the Black Rabbit on Friday, and my grandson was all dressed up with a sport coat, a white sport coat, black shirt,
Oh.
like a cowboy hat, and like really
The
look nice.
cowboy hats are really in with the kids now, don't you find?
Yeah,
My
you
niece
know,
just got married and her husband to be wore a cowboy hat for the wedding.
yeah. Why not?
I thought it was absolutely super cool. Hello, Angela. Hello, Trent. Hello, Felicia. We were just talking about you and how funny you were, Felicia.
Hmm.
So you guys are all seeing this QR code in front of you, and we are going to talk about it. So take your phone.
About the QR code?
Well, we're going to talk about meetings.
Oh,
Yeah. So that QR code, you can take your phone and join us live. There's also a login link right underneath the QR code if you are on your um, okay, what is Estelle saying? Hang on one sec. So that QR code will work for your phone and the link will work for your computer. You can just copy and paste that into your URL and to your browser. Shelly, it's because you're sharing your whole desktop instead of just the browser. Oh, I'm not sure why. Okay, good enough. I'm okay because you can see both of us,
You can
and
see us in a little
we're in the
corner.
little corner. We don't need to
We're at the
be.
little corner.
We don't need to be highlighted. I want to highlight. I want to highlight. Show up is what I really want to do. So,
The
meetings.
conversation.
Yeah,
The conversation is more important than us.
the conversation is way more than us. Neither one of us have a suit on, so
So don't.
we're not trying to press anybody. Are we?
Well, actually, that's interesting. I'm trying to be comfortable in me. Like, if you're comfortable wearing a suit, then wear a suit. Like, I don't dress for other people. I dress for me.
As you should.
And then I was solving that, and women do that all the time. They dress for themselves. They dress to look nice. They dress to feel good. And I think if you feel good wearing a suit, then wear a suit. If you feel good wearing a sweater, then wear a sweater. Like,
Yeah, the clothes don't define you actually. And if that's what it takes to define you, like if you can't show up, if you're not because you don't have a suit on, then that's something you need to reflect on. I think that it's really important. I remember years ago Alex Sharfin talking about how I no longer waste time putting on clothes. I just buy Lululemon and I just wear that every day because I feel comfortable in that. And I thought, oh my God, that is what the future is. So if you look at any science fiction movies, they're all wearing the same clothes. You ever notice?
yeah, of course.
Yeah, because that no longer matters, I guess, in the future. Anyways, we're getting totally off topic. Meetings.
No, we're gonna lean into that.
We are going to
Yeah,
lean
you're
into
gonna
it.
see. It's gonna
Yeah,
all come around.
it'll
Like
all it's
I
so true.
trust a QR code.
Trust the QR. Yeah, trust the QR code. Come with
Uh-oh.
us on a ride.
Me to a logging page. The QR code brought me to a logging screen. Me too. So the QR code doesn't work.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Why is that?
Hmm.
Why is that?
Okay.
Same here. Okay, so please use the link instead of the QR code. We just had an upgrade, so we may have had there could be something going on. I'm not really 100% sure. So please use this link that is provided for you, and let's get into it. Is the link bringing you guys to the same place? Let me know.
But so let's continue on
Felicia?
the suit for a second
Okay.
after you're talking. So,
Yep.
so I'll just like provide content.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Provide content.
so well, we had a meeting about meetings the other day, which
We
is
did.
interesting. We had a
Wednesday.
meeting about meetings, and one person said, and I forget who. Well, I know who it is. I shouldn't say I forgot. So one person said the reason I don't turn on my camera is because I don't wear a suit, right? What I mean by that, same issue with the link. So what I mean, but same issue with the link.
Well, darn it all.
So we're gonna take the show up off.
Yeah, we
Maybe
are.
somebody could. Yeah. So we're gonna show. Up.
Darn.
So we're back to our pretty faces.
We are.
Yeah, you do look pretty without a suit.
Thanks.
And
same issue.
so
with the
so
link.
this
That's
is
too
one
bad.
of the reason this young person was saying to me was that the reason she doesn't like to turn her computer on is she may not be wearing the right clothes, and she may be not dressed to receive, if you want. So we have this like perception that, and it's not a perception. People judge us. We think people judge us when we're not dressed well. Well, they judge us no matter what. So think about that for a second. People will judge you no matter what. They judge you if you dress well. They judge you if you dress, and I'm going to define well. People just judge me for what I'm wearing, for what not I'm wearing, for the circumstance, right? People judge you. They do judge you, and being no one means that you are dressing for yourself, right? And you're okay with being yourself.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't at one time years ago I was raked over the coals for what I wore. I was in my early 20s and
Really?
I
Never
worked
told me the story.
I worked in retail.
Wow.
I worked in retail. Yeah, I did tell you this story. And I'll never forget, actually, I wore a little pink top and a white skirt. And I think I don't even know. I might have been 20 at the time, and I was taking the deposit down, and a whole bunch of the guys that ran the company were standing out front, and they were having a little talk on St. George Street.
Hmm.
And I was walking down to the national or the Scotiabank at that time. And when I came back from doing the deposit, there was a notice on the bulletin board that talked about dress code.
Did you feel targeted?
It was definitely about me. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So you also told me a story about your daughter and dress code. You remember
I
that?
did. Yeah.
And what did you tell your daughter?
Until you are pointed, until they come to you directly, wear whatever you want to wear.
So did they point? So back to your story. Did they actually put your name down?
No, no, they didn't. They didn't put my.
Could you take your advice?
Could could I take my advice?
Well, the advice you just gave to your daughter.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Nobody came to me. I continued to wear what I was going to wear,
Mm,
but was I hurt?
yeah, but it's
What?
in your head, right?
Oh, it completely in my head, and the story still continues to this day. And it actually affected me going forward. It was um, it really was a loss for me.
Why a loss?
A big store because it took up too much mind space, right? So every time
Oh,
I got dressed, it was, is it going to be okay for men,
okay.
right?
So we do like, so this is we're going to get into the topic of meetings over meetings and when is a good meeting or do we meet to dictate or what is the title? Do we meet to
Well, yeah.
whatever it
So
was?
are we meaning to collaborate,
Yes.
or is it simply just a waste of time? So if I had have been able to have that meeting, so if those men had a came in and said, "Hey, Shelley, what you're wearing we don't find was appropriate, and we would like you to dress differently to sell computers," would I have handled it better than having a pin on the bulletin board? Now, interesting enough, because I always looked at that man going forward, that he was a bully. I never saw that man that wrote that letter in the same light ever again.
Okay. Yeah.
If he had a meeting with me, would it have been different? Would I have been able to say, what is wrong with my outfit? See, that's what I never understood was what was wrong with my outfit. So it could have been collaborative. He could have said what was the problem with my outfit.
So I would approach this differently. I would
Okay.
say, is Shelley selling? Is her selling because you were hired to sell, right? Is her ability to do the job affected by what she wears? And if it is, then I would say, okay, well, maybe your ability to do the job could be better if you change this. I would give you some feedback on what could you improve to get better at your job,
Yeah.
right? So if you dress like a clown with like a big hairdo and you paint your face and you're in sales position, it might affect your sales, right?
Maybe. Yeah.
It may. So
Yeah.
it's about like so sometimes I think, and we're going to go back to meetings in a second. We lose track of why we do something.
Yeah.
It's and the reason people are telling you to do a certain way because it's about them. You don't look professional to them. You were a trigger to them. You were so strong in your own way of being. I'm willing to bet that you were the top salesperson there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
that because I know that about you. You're a good salesperson.
Thanks.
So I would have said, you go sell. Everybody should dress like Shelly. That's what I would say. And or dress the way you want to feel. So if you're not comfortable dressing up or putting yourself up and making whatever you want to, but on the other side, I know people, right? I know people that love to dress up
Me
and they
too.
love to put makeup on.
Yes.
They love to wear a suit, and that's perfectly fine too,
It is.
right?
Yep, it is.
So when you're
Agree.
showing up for a meeting, and this is the same topic here, we're going to talk about the meeting. Is a meeting a waste of time or is it collaborative? Well, a meeting has to be collaborative in my book. If not, it is a waste of time.
Yeah,
There
absolutely.
is no doubt in my mind that if you are having a meeting to tell someone what to do
Yep.
and you don't expect to have a collaboration, in other words, to have input in the way they may have questions or you want their input, then it's a waste of time. You could just send an email, hey, do this. Can you do this for me?
Yeah.
Right? Absolutely. And there are people, and we discussed this, that require some collaboration to do some certain things.
Hmm.
And there are some people who don't. Like you and I rarely meet. Like this morning, we didn't meet at 7 a.m. and say, hey, Shelly, are you wearing blue today?
Yeah.
No,
We need to match.
we didn't
We
even, but
didn't.
we didn't. But
No.
it just happened to match. Life is like that sometimes. But it just happened to match. We didn't have a meeting about it.
Yeah.
But working, wearing sweaters that match.
Okay. So for me, a good meeting is about alignment and collaboration. That's what a good meeting for me is.
Okay, so okay, let's just go
Yeah.
deeper into that. Do
Yeah.
you collaborate in every meeting? Do you go to a meeting and say and collaborate at every meeting?
Not necessarily. I do not collaborate sometimes I'm a deep listener because it's
Okay.
not my place
Yeah.
to necessarily collaborate, but I'm aligning with the team. I hear them
Mhm. Got it.
brainstorming,
And then
right?
you're saying I understand where they're going and I see my role and not or might not. Maybe you don't have an action to take on that meeting. Is
Maybe
that
I don't.
and that's okay?
Maybe I don't.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
you spend a lot of time in meetings. I know that.
Well, that's my job. That's what I do. So most of my day is spent with others
Hmm.
at Dovaco in meetings.
And you get invited to a lot of
I
meetings
do.
and you accept all of them?
No.
Why not?
Well, because there's times when I don't need to be there. It's not collaborative. It's not about alignment. It's about what they've done the last week. They're working themselves and working in agile sprints. So they're sharing what they've done. I don't need to be in there to listen to them about what they've done. I need to be there, as far as I'm concerned, to find out where they're going.
So that's the most important thing about a meeting is like you need to figure out why you're going to a meeting. And if it's for fear of missing out, FOMO, then you probably shouldn't go to the meeting. If it's to get a pat on the back, I'm not so sure you should go to the meeting.
Yeah, yeah,
If you like, like you go to a meeting to collaborate. In other words, to explore, to be like in the searching for, can I do my job better? Do I understand where this job is going so I can actually bring more to the team? Can I be of service to the team? That's where you go to a meeting. But if you're going there just because you're afraid of missing out, not being seen in a suit or not a suit, if like that's the issue, that I
yeah.
think you have to ask yourself questions, and I do. And I went through this. I went through this like a long time ago when you first became CEO. I thought, geez, like she's going to have a meeting. I'm not going to be like, what's my worth? What's my purpose in life? Blah, 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 blah,
How
blah.
important am I going to
How
be?
important am I? Maybe I should dress up for the meeting. Maybe I should speak up for the meeting. And there's lots of meetings I go and I don't listen because I just
Or you
listen.
don't
I
speak?
don't
Yeah,
speak. And the reason for that is because I'm looking at my skill set, the things I want to do, the edge. Can I do this better? Can I like show up better? That's what I'm looking at. Like, is there something I can contribute to? Right? It's a collaborative work, and sometimes there's not. Sometimes there's nothing to do. There's nothing, and then but what happens if I'm a listener? For me, and maybe you can share that. But for me, I will listen. I will listen. I say, okay, and I'll go out and I'll journal about this. And the problem that I was trying to solve solves. Like I get to see, oh, I think I can contribute this way. I can do better this way.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
what happens to me.
yeah. And you really do. I think that is absolutely huge. So I don't go to meetings about what happened in the past. Those are that are sharing about what they've done. I believe is that it could have been said in an email syndrome. Like if you really need to share with me what you've done last week, send me an email.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I question for some, it's really important that they share what they've done. It's really important to them. And should I diminish that? Or
Well,
should I be coaching on, you don't need a pat on the back? Pat yourself on the back for a job well done.
I remember, I'm going to bring you to a personal thing, right? I
Hmm.
remember when, this got me into really deep depression. I would always want to, I had this house way back when, and I had this project, which is called a bathroom. And for 15
Oh, yeah.
years, I couldn't like bring myself to fix the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I was shamed by it, not by anyone except my own thoughts. And because I was waiting every time I would do a project, and my house was full of projects, by the way, and that's what happens is if you're waiting to be validated by someone else, it leads to eventually not being enough for yourself.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to do all the time is allow people to discover their purpose in life is to be excited about what they do, to be excited about, and this is why we acknowledge people. We focus on acknowledgments, we focus on the mood, we focus on practices and pillars, so people that can actually discover something about themselves. And so then you don't need to go to a meeting. You don't need to get the good job at a boy. You don't need it. You don't need it because you're already happy with the job you've done. You're already happy with the things that you've done. You don't
Yeah.
need it.
It's
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 like,
self-serving, right?
yeah, so it's like posting a video on, like, I post some videos. So I posted 3 videos yesterday, and I wasn't looking for the likes. Now,
Good.
do I like it? Yes, of course. I'm a human being. I like when people like my stuff.
Yep.
But I was already happy with actually going and discovering something for myself. All these videos are like on the edge for me. Like the one I did for the I Am Canadian. What
Yep.
was that? The day before yesterday. That was on the edge for me. And I like
Yeah.
reached out and said, "Oh, this is on the edge
Shall
for
do I
me."
should I post it? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for
So
sure.
so it's like about like I know how to do a video.
Yep.
I know how to come to a story in a minute. That was in the end. The edge was a topic,
Yeah.
right? And I took advantage of like I don't need a suit. I am Canadian. I have a voice. I have no problem listening to people, and they can tell me because I can take a punch, right? And I can. These were all true statements, but I had to discover that for myself. And so this is an example of going on the edge and like promoting shop in a different way, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So what does that have to do with a meeting? Again, I think the work has to be done inside of your brain to say, do I need to be at the meeting? Can I say no? Can I just do my work? Can I be just happy in doing my work? Or do I want to participate to learn, to discover what other people, because that's important. What your community is doing is also important. Like you want to be part of something.
And that's why I show up as a listener a lot of times. I don't need to be a collaborator. I need to be a listener because I want to know what's going on. What is coming up. I don't necessarily need to be in the meetings about what happened in the past. Like I said,
No,
I want to know what's coming up. I want people to brainstorm. I want to be part of those brainstorming sessions. I mean, for Dovaco, that's what it's all about: innovation, creativity. So when people have ideas, right? They want to put AI into timesheet. Like, absolutely. Let's talk about more of that. So I never have to actually put any time in ever again into a timesheet package. Let's find out how to get there. And then the discussions around that stuff excites me,
I agree.
right? Um, but it's also really important that if I'm in flow, if I am being super productive in what I'm doing right now, I can also hit decline. I can
Yes.
go now, remote working is completely different, right? Than how it used to be. And we record our meetings. So if I really want to find out what's going on in that meeting, I can go watch that meeting at another time, when it's more important. Being productive for any workplace should be first and foremost.
Yes.
It's very difficult to get into flow.
Yes.
And if you do not take advantage of that and do that, be a yes to that,
Yes.
then you are doing yourself a disservice. So I have heard over and over again, well, I'm losing work hours by coming to the meeting.
I've heard that too.
like over and over
It's true.
again. Now at Dovico, we have a saying, and it's no is a full sentence.
But still, people have that fear of being. It's not. In this case, it's not. It's not fear of missing out. I think it's fear of being judged.
Possibly,
That's what I
possibly.
believe.
But if you're not, if you're telling me you're coming to the meeting instead of getting the deep work that you need to have done, where does that put me as a leader? What's my job here?
Well, you can't like okay, first of all, you as a leader, you cannot change anyone. Like their mindset is their mindset. They have to work on their own mindset.
But do I have to put a rule in place? Do I have to put a policy in place? Do I have to say you can skip meetings every Thursday? Like do I put a rule in place to say once a week there's you're not allowed to have any meetings?
Well,
Like is that what's necessary?
you can. I don't think it's going to do anything.
Even me talking about it, you can tell I'm a little upset about it. I
I can
absolutely
tell.
I do you know
You're turning red. I can like your
I
cheeks are turning red.
I hate that.
Are you having a hot flash or is it just
No. No, I'm just passionate about it because I the number one, you should be getting your work done. And never the excuse should ever come to me to say, well, I had so many meetings,
but
I couldn't get my
but
work done.
Shelly, maybe they're not where you are. It's like saying, "Hey, I'm going to work out every single morning and work out like you do." I've seen you work out. I'm not doing that. I'm not where you are.
It's different.
It's the same thing. You're expecting people to play in the NHL hockey and they're just learning certain things. They're learning how to say a no. When do you like my grandson was like I asked my grandson like he was telling me he's 19. He's going to be 19 in a few weeks. And he's decided to maybe he wants to go to Japan for 3 months. And he was
So cool.
right. And so I asked him, "Hey, can I go with you?" And he said, "No, I'd rather be alone." Now, the interesting thing about that is it took me 66 years, 66 years, 66, 60, 66 years
To
to
say no.
to say no. I'm just learning to say no. That's okay. Thank you. I'm okay. Thank you. I'd rather be alone. And I said that for the first time in my life when I was in Punta Cana.
Yeah. Yeah.
First time.
So proud of you.
Somebody like reached out and said, "Hey, you want to join us for dinner?" And I said, "No, thank you. I'm okay by myself. Thank
Good.
you. I'm going to
Yeah.
spend time with myself." I said, "No, no guilt, nothing. It takes practice. We're not all at the same space." Now, you had to learn that maybe when you're 20s or 15 because you had a life experience that brought you there,
Maybe.
right? And then so your job as a leader, I believe, is to create the experience and people can say no and to accept no,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
To accept no that they're not turning on their cameras, to accept no that they don't want to be here, to accept it's a practice.
Nobody's been fired at Dovico for not coming to a meeting.
No, so it's like so the bigger purpose of the meeting to me is when I go to a meeting, I'm looking for opportunities.
Hmm.
I'm looking to acknowledge people I'm excited when people deliver things. I want to know. I get excited because
I do
then
too.
that creates an opportunity for me to say, how can I show up and help and be part of this? I like to look at that. That's the way. And also I like to share what I'm doing. So those are the reason that I show up for a meeting. What can I do to help? How can I like go on the edge? This is the purpose of
Yep.
living. Purpose of living
Yep.
is finding your edge, your expansion, and then sometimes I don't go to meetings, and I say, and I had to work at that, Shelly. I had
I
to
know.
work even when I went to Punta Cana 2 weeks ago, and you did Mindset Monday without me. I listened in, and that little
Oh.
voice in my head, I called it Estelle, like. She came in and says, "Why are you listening in on your holiday?" So I turned it off because I was having FOMO. Oh my God, she's going
Oh,
to replace me with Owen. Owen's got such a good bassy voice. They look good
does
together.
they?
And I'm like, oh my God, like
They
all these
look good
stories.
together.
All these stories, right? I think I'm a
Isn't that
leader
interesting?
and I
You
can
are.
say, no, it's my meeting, it's my company.
Yeah.
But I was afraid not to work,
Mm,
right?
yeah. So many people are still in that space, right? Where they're afraid not to work.
So if you say, hey, we have a meeting, right?
Yeah.
And you put a rule and say, don't have meetings. like you're not allowing people to create space to discover why they want to have a meeting or not have a meeting,
Yeah.
right? So I think what you're doing, which is what you did last week, or what Ross brought to our
Yeah.
attention,
So
is to
good.
have a conversation about having a meeting. That's exactly what we should have.
Yeah.
There's no hard having a meeting, not having a meeting. These are all made up rules in our heads,
Mm-hmm.
like in our heads, our own heads, right?
So
So
Jeff says, oh, Jeff, and I just finished the audio of Let Them, and that's the second time I listened to it. So Mel Robbins' Let Them is so good when it comes to this, right? A great resource. Yeah, I agree. And the biggest thing about Let Them is let me,
hmm,
right?
yeah,
The second
choose.
part of that is let me.
Don't forget the second part.
Yeah, the second part has to
It's the most important
it's
part.
the most important part, and she will often say that is the most important part. So let them have the meeting and let me do my productive work because I am in the zone.
Choose, choose.
Choose. And the thing is when your boss comes to you and says, Eve, you were invited to that meeting and you declined that meeting. Now, when you look at me and you say, Shell, I got these 3 videos done and I was just rocking it. Like, am I going to admonish you for that? Now, some might. You
Some
will know
have.
that you were in the wrong spot if that actually happens. Anybody comes to me and says, "Oh my God, Shelley, I was rocking it. I couldn't stop doing what I was doing because I got like all those bugs fixed. I got whatever it is. I am going to trust and honor you for saying no. See, the thing is when you say no to something, you understand you're saying yes to something else.
Yes, that's correct. 100%. And you may be faced with an environment where you have a person that like has rules about meetings and how to dress and how to behave, and if you don't accomplish these rules, they don't look at the job you're doing, the task that you're doing. I would say that's a bit narcissistic myself. Like they're not giving you the acknowledgement of the job you're doing,
Mm,
and they're basing it about the rules because they want you to behave like they do.
yeah,
I'm sorry, but that doesn't exist anymore. That
it
way
just
of
doesn't.
working, it doesn't exist. It doesn't,
It
and it
doesn't.
doesn't work,
No,
right?
no.
It doesn't work. Like it doesn't work anymore. That was a era that was dealing after World War II. We built up this industrial workplace that we said this is the way we work. You get in on time. Like my father used to, monitor people coming in, making sure they were there at 8:01, not 8:01, but 8:00. You had to dress.
800.
Yeah, no, yeah, at 8 o'clock, you
Yeah,
had to be
yeah.
there at
Punch
8 o'clock.
punch clocks
You
were a
had
real thing.
you had to wear a suit. This was all rules, and that worked really well to take us where we are today, right?
Yep.
But that doesn't exist anymore.
It actually hasn't worked for a really long
No.
time. I don't believe, and I think that I'm just going to give out some stats here before we go
Okay.
because I think it's super important that we understand. Microsoft just did a study and found that the meetings have increased 252%
Wow. Since
since remote working.
Yeah, so because that's the fear from the boss. Like that's the fear because this is real. People want you to go back to the office, not because you're not doing work, because they are losing control. That's why.
And that's what I believe.
Oh
I
yeah,
believe,
no doubt
and
about it.
and they call it a power play.
It is a power
So
play.
yeah, so a lot of meetings that are that your manager or your supervisor is calling as a power play, and it's about making sure that they're still in charge. See, the thing
Jeez.
is and at Dovico we kind of got rid of that a long time ago, and it's still a work in progress. No hierarchy here, right? So it's not about the manager calling any meetings, the supervisor calling any meetings. It's about you doing your own work, being the leader of your life, and it doesn't matter who you are on the team. If you do need to collaborate, if you do need to have, a brainstorming session, you don't have to wait for your manager to call the meeting. You can actually do that.
But it requires work for the manager. Like you went through this, and I have been through it with you, and I went through this too. It requires a like some sort of self an analysis as to why am I calling a meeting?
Yeah.
Why do I insist people go to the meeting?
Yeah.
Why am I insisting on certain rules? Why do I insist that you wear certain clothes? I'm not saying no rules. Like you can't run like an aviation company without certain rules, like engineering, like electrician like that. Like there are safety issues. I get it. I get that.
Yeah.
However, there are ways to run your meeting, right? There are ways to run your meeting so you have less meetings because a lot of the meetings that you go to, a lot of the meetings that we have, if it's increased by 200%, I can guarantee you if you didn't need a meeting in the office, you probably don't need one remotely either.
Absolutely. And what you'll find is you'll find there's reoccurring meetings and they just happen because they've always happened.
Like
Weekly meetings, they
question everything.
happens just because
Mhm,
you may not have anything to discuss at all, but because it always just it happens.
mhm.
We have a marketing meeting every week. You might not actually have anything to discuss. You might actually have work to do. So really important. If you want to see an amazing meeting, Google the Blue Angels
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
take
yeah,
a look
yeah.
at what their meetings are like.
Mhm.
So these are people that fly 16 inches at 400 kilometers an hour, or 400 miles. I don't know what it is. It's crazy. And they have a meeting about, oh my God, I almost hit you because I blinked at a certain time and I shouldn't have. So they have vulnerability meetings.
It's
And
pretty
it's
amazing.
and it's about telling the truth because their lives are in jeopardy. Those meetings, if you really want to see a productive meeting and what a productive meeting is about.
Mhm.
Look at that. The
True.
Blue
It's so
Angels,
true.
absolutely
What else
amazing
do you have for
stuff.
stats?
I also wanted to let you know that 70% um, of meetings, so a survey found that 70% of employees feel their meetings are unproductive and prevent them from getting the work done.
70%.
70%.
Like you have,
Don't
okay,
go to the meeting.
but
Wow.
hold on now. What happens? Like last week we had a meeting about a meeting. That's
We
what we
did.
did.
We had
And
we had
somebody
team meetings.
suggested maybe we should cancel the meeting.
Yeah,
So, right? So some people may like some boss may get their like hair in the back of their sticking out. You have to question everything.
totally.
Question everything.
Yeah.
And if 70% of your people are thinking that you have too many meetings or they're unproductive, well, then you have to question that because it's all about, and it's bigger than being productive.
Way bigger.
It's about having a feeling of living a life that's purposeful. Like you want to make sure that your team is living a life and they're going on the edge, they're
Yeah.
learning something, they're being a contribution. You want to be able to create that environment because that's what's going to create engagement, innovation, trust. So it's important to have those discussions.
It is. It is. And so my challenge for you moving forward is, can you say no?
Mm.
If you are one of those 70% that are attending meetings that you do not believe are productive, can you say no? Try it on for size. Just try it on and see what happens. Does it isolate you? Does it put you in a silo? Did it make you less collaborative? Did it make you more productive? Did you have to prove anything? Or can you simply just
See,
get your work done? Yeah, and just say no.
say no is powerful.
Saying no is really powerful. And you know what? You may say no at the wrong time, and that's okay. You can actually be vulnerable then and say, geez, team, I tried it on for size. And in actuality, that meeting was productive for me. That meeting felt really good for me. And I just didn't realize it at the time. Unless we try,
Mm.
right? Unless we try it, unless we practice it, it'll just stay the same.
Yeah.
So, let's stop that. All right. So, this has been Mindset Monday. We'll come back next week with some show up stuff as soon as we tweak that a little bit. So, no biggie. All is well. I'm Shelley Butler,
I'm Eve Doucette.
and this has been Mindset Monday. Mwah! I love you. Get your workout in. And how are you?